Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some incredible battles in the Ultra League Premier Cup featuring Legacy Shadow Omastar. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now for the team, this trainer is running Legacy Shadow Omastar on the lead, Heracross as the safe switch with Rock Blast to threaten Charizards, and Venusaur as the closer, and goes on a nice run with the team. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Legacy Shadow Omastar in action in the Ultra Premier Cup. Hopping to the first match, leading Shadow Omastar into Aurorus. This is a pretty decent lead for Shadow Omastar, but you always have to be careful of the Meteor Beam. Aurorus does have enough for the Meteor Beam, and we see the immediate shield from the Omastar, and the opponent goes straight for it. That proves to be a big shield. Omastar already at the back-to-back rock slides. First one, able to land, getting the Aurorus low. Aggressive switch into the Heracross, and able to snipe. In comes Wing Attack Charizard. These Wing Attacks hitting for double super effective damage, but Heracross can hit back in return with the Rock Blast. Opponent is forced to shield and fire off a Dragon Claw, as Heracross would have reached another Rock Blast. And now, Charizard is going to feel the wrath of Shadow Omastar. In comes Shadow Omastar. Opponent is going to send in Shadow Swampert into a loaded Hydro Pump. Do they respect it? They do not! And that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Shadow Omastar into Ampharos. We are going to see an immediate save switch into Heracross, and Ampharos is going to stay in this matchup and fire off a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch, of course, not going to be lethal, so we are going to see Heracross let this go. Heracross would win CMP here, but the Ampharos recognizes that and goes for the extra Volt Switch. Earthquake does get shielded. Ampharos looking for a farm down. They decide against it, worried about a last second Rock Blast, so they will fire off a Thunder Punch to prevent that from happening. Thunder Punch will get the KO, but honestly, Heracross did its job. Heracross checked for a Charizard in the back. There wasn't one, and now in comes Venusaur, and Venusaur will be met with Walrein. Frenzy Plant will do a ton of damage if it lands, which it does, and back in comes Shadow Omastar. This is enough for the Earthquake. Earthquake, of course, would easily be lethal, so we do see the shield, and the opponent full sends the Quake. That's massive. This is going to allow Omastar to farm all the way down. This is only an Icicle Spear, so Omastar will be able to tank it and leave with a ton of energy to threaten whatever the opponent has in the back. In comes the Ampharos, and Omastar is able to win CMP. Rock Slide gets the shield, Ampharos firing their loaded Thunder Punch, and we do see a shield from the Omastar. Omastar looking to potentially sweep. In the back is Escav, and this is bad news for the opponent. Hello, Escav. Goodbye, Escav. In comes the Venusaur, and that is a good game. Dream lead in the next match, Shadow Omastar into Charizard. Opponent is going to save switch into Swampert, and they're going to be met with Venusaur. Swampert is a fantastic Pokemon, but often not seen as a great save switch due to the fact that if you run into a grass type, you're going to be in an absolute world of pain. Looks like Venusaur is going to go for the full farm down here, willing to tank an Earthquake to leave with a ton of energy to threaten the Charizard while also denying the Charizard a bunch of farm. Opponent is going to wait their timer, and they're going to send back in the Charizard into the double loaded Sludge Bombs. First Sludge Bomb fired off onto the Charizard. Charizard is going to let that through. Charizard immediately met with Sludge Bomb number 2. Opponent is going to commit the shield, which is a bold strategy considering they're going to be locked in against an Omastar. They fire off a charge move. Omastar does not care, tanking the Blast Burn like it's nothing, and returning fire with the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to grab a shield from the opponent. Charizard continues to farm. They reach a Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw's not going to KO, so Omastar doesn't have to shield here. In the back, they have Walrein. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Leading into a bit of a core breaker in the next match, Shadow Omastar into Shadow Scizor. Scizor definitely an uncomfortable Pokemon for this team to see, since it does pretty well against both the Omastar and the Venusaur. Omastar is going to take a Night Slash and return fire with a Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to hit for some heavy neutral damage. Omastar continuing to farm and an aggressive switch into the Heracross to snipe the Scizor. Scizor is out of the way. Hopefully this means Venusaur will have a decent matchup in the back. The opponent is going to send in a Shadow Gyarados. Shadow Gyarados, an incredibly cool pick. Rock Blast is going to land, hitting for big, super effective damage. Opponent is going to fire off an Aqua Tail. Aqua Tail is going to be getting this Heracross Heracross very low. Heracross barely able to hang on and reach the last second Rock Blast. That is huge. Opponent is going to let that through, trusting in their final Pokemon, which is a Shadow Dragonite, and that is incredibly bad. A Shadow Dragonite does very well against Venusaur in the 2-shield. Venusaur is going to commit the shield right away, knowing that there's basically no health remaining on the Omastar. You have to start using shields in this matchup. We're going to see the Sludge Bomb fired off, and we see a shield from the Shadow Dragonite. These Dragon Breaths just proving to be incredibly oppressive. This is not looking good. Dragon Claw gets the shield. Venusaur looking to try and get the final shield, and then maybe Omastar can make a Rock Slide. Dragonite is going to let that through. Now it's going to be a fast move race. In comes the Omastar. Omastar just not able to KO the Dragonite. Dragonite standing strong, and that is a good game. The tough leads continue in the next match as we lead Shadow Omastar into a Shadow Swampert. Definitely not the lead you're hoping to see. An immediate save switch into Heracross. Swampert is going to bank some energy and then send in their Wing Attack Charizard. Charizard not going to appreciate the energy lead Heracross, spamming out these Rock Blasts. First one is able to get the shield. Opponent lags a little bit, and we see Rock Blast number 2 coming through. Decision time for the opponent. They are going to double shield their Charizard, continue to farm, and then fire off a move. Heracross is going to let that go, because at this point, you've done your job, you've managed to get shield advantage, and now, hopefully, shield advantage Venusaur will be able to sweep in the endgame. Charizard fires off the Dragon Claw. Omastar is going to let that through. Oh man, Omastar looking to massively overfarm in this matchup. Charizard goes for another Dragon Claw. That is not going to be lethal. Omastar building up to the back-to-back Rock Slides. This is going to be hitting for massive damage, getting rid of the Charizard. In comes Swampert. Swampert fires off their Hydro Cannon. We see a shield from the Omastar. Omastar makes it to the Hydro Pump. We've seen this before. This will be one-shotting the Swampert. In the back, they have Walrein, and Walrein is about to learn the meaning of pain from this Venusaur. Venusaur going for the Frenzy Plant, big damage, getting the Walrein deep into the red. And since this is a non-Shadow Walrein, Venusaur can comfortably tank an Icicle Spear. It's going to be able to let that through. All you have to do is shield once. The Vine Whip will register, KO the Walrein, and that will be game over. Picking up a great lead in the next match, Shadow Omastar into Walrein. Omastar does of course have to be mindful of these super effective Earthquakes, but will be able to spam out these Rock Slides with terrifying speed. Firing off the first Rock Slide at the Walrein. Walrein is going to let that through, but that just does so much damage. Walrein overfarming, and they overfarm a bit too much, and now they're forced to shield to fire off this energy. They will commit the shield, and we'll see Omastar is going to call a bait. Omastar calls the Icicle Spear bait. What a read. And now Omastar can pretty safely shield up the Earthquake, as this is enough for the Earthquake here. And Omastar in a fantastic position. In comes the Ampharos. Ampharos is going to be met with Heracross. Heracross, of course, will be able to tank the Thunder Punch, and Heracross is running Earthquake. Heracross farming up, not quite able to get to the Earthquake, and we're going to see a no shield from the Heracross. So perfectly fine with letting the Heracross go, and now just going to send in Venusaur. Venusaur is going to look to get some extra energy here. Ampharos will be able to hit for neutral damage with Brutal Swing. Venusaur tanks it and is going for the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant will, of course, be knocking out here. Opponent is going to let that through. We'll have to see what they have in the back. And they have a Quick Attack Sylveon. Sylveon definitely not going to appreciate this Sludge Bomb, so we do see a shield being used. Continuing to farm, switch into the Omastar, tried to go for a snipe, but unfortunately ended up catching a Psyshock. Psyshock gets the shield, and now going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to do big damage onto the Sylveon. Sylveon not doing a lot of damage here, courtesy of Quick Attack. They go for a catch attempt onto Walrein. Omastar able to double up on moves, firing off the Rock Slide. That's going to be getting rid of the Walrein. Bring back in the Sylveon. Sylveon met with a Rock Slide as well. Omastar closing strong, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Shadow Omastar into another Shadow Swampert. Same game plan as before, immediate save switch into Heracross, and the opponent responds with Charizard. Charizard is going to be met with the Rock Blast. Rock Blast hitting for double super effective damage, able to land, nearly one-shotting the Charizard. Charizard will go for the Dragon Claw, deciding not to make a play for switch, just gonna let them move through, and instead set up a potential Mudshot farm down for the Omastar. Waiting the clock, in comes Omastar. Omastar not quite able to farm down before Charizard is able to reach a last-second Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to land. Switch Clock is not yet up, which is unfortunate, as now Omastar is going to be forced to burn a shield. Omastar will be able to bank a Rock Slide, send in Venusaur, and in the back, it is Walrein as expected. Walrein goes for the Icicle Spear, but is going to lose CMP to Venusaur. This Frenzy Plant is going to grab a shield from the opponent, and from here, honestly, I think you just let this move through, because as we've seen, Icicle Spear not going to KO on the Venusaur. Venusaur continuing to farm, going for the Frenzy Plant. Opponent is going to decide to go for the extra, not wanting to get trapped in a CMP tie. Continuing to farm, they do have a ton of energy here. Omastar could have gone for the Rock Slide, but instead goes for the extra. Calls a bait, and it's the Icicle Spear. What a read! And now going to be able to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to KO. This is going to be a race. Can Omastar make it to the Hydro Pump before Swampert doubles up on moves? Swampert fires off the Hydro Cannon. Omastar farming up and gets to the Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump will deal massive damage, taking out the Swampert, and Omastar closes again. Picking up a very tough lead in the next match, Shadow Omastar into Trevenant. Honestly, this entire team struggles against Trevenant, so this is going to be an uphill battle. Omastar gonna go for the Rock Slide, but loses CMP to Trevenant. A double super effective Seed Bomb is going to command a shield. Omastar looking to return fire with a Rock Slide. Rock Slide does get a shield from the Trevenant. Omastar continuing to farm up, goes for a catch onto Venusaur, but the opponent shows great patience, holding on to their energy, and now they get to land a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will do quite a bit of damage. Venusaur farming up, going for the Sludge Bomb, but a catch of a lifetime as the opponent catches the Sludge Bomb onto their Aggron. Very nicely done. Opponent going for the farm down. Venusaur will be able to reach a Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant will do a lot of damage to the Aggron. Aggron gets the farm down, but now it's Aggron's turn to be farmed by the Heracross. So now both Heracross and the Omastar do have energy. What is the opponent going to do? The opponent is going to send in Trevenant. Trevenant did leave with quite a bit of energy, so we are going to see a shield from the Heracross, and it is the Shadow Ball. So that proves to be a big shield. Heracross is going to fire off the Rock Blast. Rock Blast, not the strongest move, so Trevenant can let this through. Heracross continuing to farm, goes for the Rock Blast, and that looked like a CMP tie. That would be massive. Rock Blast gets the shield. Trevenant not able to overfarm. They are stuck firing off their charge move. It is the Shadow Ball. In comes Omastar. In the back, they have Walrein, and this game actually feels winnable. I have no idea how, but I think Omastar can clutch this. Rock Slide able to land. Opponent goes for the Icicle Spear, knowing that they had the back-to-back Rock Slides. Icicle Spear is not gonna cut it. Omastar very close to 2 more Rock Slides here. This first one is gonna knock out the Walrein, and this second one is going to knock out the Trevenant. Water Rock type, taking down the Grass type, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Shadow Omastar into Sylveon. This lead will depend on the fast move and their running quick attack. Of the Sylveons I've seen in the Ultra League Premier Cup, I have definitely noticed a lot more quick attack Sylveons. It's very spammy, and on top of that, with Charm being nerfed, definitely opens the door to other playstyles. Omastar is going to fire off the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is going to get no shielded. Omastar is going to overfarm. Go for Rock Slide number 2. This will be lethal if the opponent lets it through, and they do. Opponent brings in Obstagoon, pivot Heracross, and in the back is Charizard. So very important to pivot Heracross there. Otherwise, the Venusaur would have been absolutely crushed by the Zard in the back. Charizard is going to fire off the Dragon Claw. This Dragon Claw plus 1 more wing attack will KO, which is going to deny the ability to reach a second Rock Blast. However, Omastar also has rock charge moves it can throw, firing off the Rock Slide, and we see a shield, so the opponent is looking to try and save the Charizard. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go double Dragon Claw and then pivot into the Obstagoon to try and snipe or potentially go for a catch. This is Dragon Claw number 2. We see the shield from the Omastar, waiting for the pivot. They bring in the Obstagoon, and Obstagoon will be met with the Venusaur. Venusaur in a pretty nice spot here. Obstagoon going for the Night Slash. That just does not do a lot of damage, and we do not see a boost. That is massive. Obstagoon going for Night Slash number 2. That is perfectly fine. Venusaur able to handle it, building up to the back-to-back moves, and gonna fire off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant is going to get the Obstagoon low. Obstagoon able to reach 1 final Night Slash, and here I will just let myself get as low as possible before I get taken out, And the Obstagoon's boost does exactly that. Now you can fire off the Sludge Bomb into the Charizard, and you have the Rock Slide loaded on the Omastar. This will be massive overkill, taking out the Charizard and securing the win. All in all, these were some extremely entertaining battles, and it is always very fun to see someone using some off-meta picks like Heracross and Shadow Omastar, and being able to absolutely crush meta teams along the way. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible, so thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.